name is Samantha, and this is my colleague, Nabunja Joleta. We're both medical students, and Joleta will further introduce herself. I'm a medical student at Uganda Christian University, School of Medicine. So what we have here is known as the medical assistant tool, and our company is Biotechs. So this is a Biotechs medical assistant tool. Basically what it does, and why we innovate, our purpose for innovating this was to reduce the contact between medical practitioners and highly infectious patients. It has very many functionalities, but the purpose was basically to reduce the contact between medical practitioners and highly infectious patients, to reduce antimicrobial resistance. So I'll start with its basic properties, and my colleague Joleta will further add on to what I'm saying. So basically, we have a UV light emitter, a pulsating UV light emitter. What it does is that it sterilizes a room. It can be a hospital ward, it can be a home, it can be any place, it can even be this very room. It sterilizes this room using UV light, pulsating UV light. Why we use UV light is that we trust it to be over 99.9, some sources say 99.2% more accurate than alcohol-based sanitizers. So UV light will not be limited like alcohol-based sanitizers to only sterilizing surfaces and hands. What it will do, it will sterilize even the air. It will target aerosols as well. It will also target surfaces, so it's really efficient. So on the sterilizing bit, before I hand over to my colleague, the sterilizing bit will also not only sterilize aerosols and surfaces. What it does, and what we also have on this device, is that we have cabinets. So in this cabinet, we can place things that we want to use again, like masks, and also things that are not disposable on hospital wards, like oximeters and thermometers. So we place them under this. We place them in these translucent cabins, where we can have this pulsating UV light emitter drop down, as you can see it dropping down. So when it drops down, it will drop down to sterilize whatever is in this cabinet. So as a medical practitioner, it can be anything. It can be your mask, it can be your car keys, it can be the thermometer that you're using on board. That's what it will do. But for the last cabinet that's opaque, we shall put drugs. That's where we put drugs. Because remember, this is an assistant tool, it's like an electronic nurse that's following a medical practitioner around the wards. So when you put the drugs there, probably a medical doctor will need to use drugs, or an intern to distribute on the ward. So why it's opaque is that we don't want this pulsating UV light to affect the drugs that are in the last cabin. That's why it's opaque, compared to the translucent ones where you put the masks and all the other devices. So I'm going to hand over to my colleague to talk about the few other components of infection prevention and control that we have on this particular device. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Nabunja Joleta Elena. I am a second-year medical student doing medicine and surgery at Makerere University College of Health Sciences. So in addition to what my colleagues have said, we have an artificial intelligence via this screen here, where I can use Google. I can ask Google, because the artificial intelligence we're using is Google Assistant. So I can say, okay Google, and it may not recognize my voice, but usually it would recognize my voice, and I can ask it any question related to medicine. So I want to ask it, how best can I maybe control, if I have like a medical complication, I can ask it, how can I control my fever? How can I go about a certain medical condition? And it also has some guidelines according to the Uganda medical guidelines, and that I can ask about if I need to find out. And then, in addition to this is where, this device can be controlled both manually and in an application. So if I need to control the pulsating UV light, the radiation, I can use this screen here, or I can do it via a phone. Then the other thing this can do is skin cancer. This skin cancer diagnosis. I can take a picture using my phone. I can take a picture using my phone, and maybe if I have a scar, and I want to ask, is it really cancerous? Is it benign? Is it harmful? And this device will be able to show here if it's benign or not. And then what he's trying to do is the teleconferencing between a patient and a medical worker. Like my colleague said, one of the major reasons we created this was to reduce physical contact between the patient and the medical worker. So using this, the medical worker can call and use the video teleconferencing to communicate with their patient. I think it's for your audience. Oh, maybe in addition, if you look at this device, it's in the shape of a pregnant mother. This is one of the reasons that drove us to design it in such a shape, was to, because of the motherly love, the motherly effect. Medicine is there to take care of people, to improve their life. So that is what inspired the whole design. And many of you may be thinking, was this made in Uganda? Yes, it was. This is actually our second prototype. The first prototype we had was wooden. We started this project in high school, Form 5, from Uganda Matters Secondary School, Namugungu. We've been working on this. This is what came from the COVID-19 lockdown, the previous pandemic. This is what we were able to come up with. And the body is 100% recyclable. Everything here we recycled and used 3D printers to print the body. So yeah, thank you for your audience.
Thank you very much for your time. So just a brief thing. So you saw me accept the call. So on the teleconferencing component of this device, when I accept as a medical practitioner, I'm able to communicate with any other medical practitioner, probably out of the country, in the country, on board, outside the hospital. So this is because you can see yourselves that side, and the person that's calling is just right over here. So that's a component of the telecom printing. Yes, so just to clarify and to emphasize, this device was really made in Uganda. What we did, we used 3D printing to print this body. This body is actually made out of plastic. We just, painted it and it looks fancy, but it's actually made in Uganda. The metallic bits are just a few components that we added, but this is basically renewable plastic. Yes, thank you very much for your time.
Wow.